Good afternoon, everybody. This is Danny Asbury L, and I'm with Redeem the Light. You can catch us on redeemthelight.com. I'm here with Brother Rajesh. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking.
All right, thank you. Could you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure thing. My name is Rajesh Shekhar, and I am a practicing classical yoga instructor, and I'll be happy to share what I can about mindfulness and perhaps some techniques today that you'll be able to incorporate mindfulness into your life. Thank you, Danny, for having me here.
I'm so glad you're here. So, Brother Rajesh has decided to be a part of the redeemthelight.com campaign. And we have a 12-step disaster preparedness plan, and he has decided to be one of the trainers for that, because not only do we need CERT training, where they teach you how to protect your resources and, save the community, but there's other things that come along with that as well. Some people, during COVID and during some of these storms that we've had, you could tell that they had some type of PTSD because they didn't practice mindfulness. They didn't practice the nuts and bolts of things, right?
Yeah,
so could you kind of go into that?
Sure. When you mention nuts and bolts, those are the things that are unseen. You don't really think about the nuts and the bolts. That's what's holding the whole thing together. If you think about the nuts and the bolts, that's where things are connecting. That's where things are being held together, brought together. And so whenever we learn something and the mind is processing some new information, mindfulness is a powerful tool and can be very powerful when we're trying to piece everything that we've learned together and kind of form the bigger picture. Mindfulness is kind of like the glue that holds everything together.
Yeah, and I noticed that earlier when we had our kids show, we had our kids zone, they were saying, some of the kids were saying how they were seeing other people freak out.
Yeah, the practicing awareness.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that, kids, they're always watching. You never know who's watching, right? And one thing that with the kids, being able to practice a certain type of observational awareness, just being able to watch and see without necessarily identifying with what's going on, without necessarily throwing ourselves into or being extremely impulsive as to trying to manipulate a situation. First, really seeing, hey, what are the pieces here? What am I working with? So that's an important step or an important process within practicing mindfulness, for sure.
So can you go into explaining what that is and why does it apply to the Redeem the Light disaster preparedness plan?
That's a great question. And as you mentioned earlier, nuts and bolts. When we talk about nuts and bolts, that's what's holding everything together. You don't really see the nuts and bolts, do you?
Right. No, yeah.
And so when we take some sort of a training, some sort of information, what happens is we're taking these parts, we're taking pieces from here and there, and we know how to put it together. But maintenance is the name of the game for life, for everything, isn't it?
Oh,
Once
wow.
we put it together, what is holding everything together, what is keeping things in its respective place, right? So what I say when we learn something new, it is mindfulness that really holds everything together. And so it's the glue, because you don't see it in action necessarily. You don't recognize it. It's not something tangible per se, but it's the unseen force that's holding everything together, right? So I think that the word mindful is kind of double-edged. It's a little bit deceptive.
Oh, wow.
Because if you think of your mind being full, that might mean that there's this going on, there's that going on. There are a lot of factors that we're considering. So if my mind is full, it kind of seems like it could be something that works against me. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so mindfulness is not necessarily what it seems like. Okay? I would break down mindfulness or the practice of mindfulness into three factors. okay? And it is recognizing your own role, remembering your intention, which is knowing why you're there, what you want to do, and being able to meet reality where it's at, being able to see what's happening in front of your two eyes. And if we can take these three factors and hold them together, those are the nuts and bolts, almost always, if not always,
Right.
it will allow us to maybe fulfill our objectives, reach our goals, stay in alignment with what the vision is.
So why did you choose to become a part of Houston's first proactive 12-step program?
In my own life, I've been there as far as my mind used to be kind of a wreck. It wasn't a pleasant place for me to be. And it wasn't until I was introduced to some of these practices and started incorporating these things. From my perspective and from my life, I had to be in a place where I needed it. I was struggling, I was in survival mode, and these were the only things that brought me back to a center to where I felt like I'm the one making the decisions. It's not my trauma. It's not my experiences. It's not these layers of influence, my fear, all these other things, anxiety, that is running the show. When I was practicing these mindfulness, whether it be breath work or even just a visualization, something like that, right? When I became more familiar with these practices is when I felt I was gaining myself back. I started connecting with myself a little bit more. I didn't even realize how far gone I was, and so that being my experience, since it was such a huge impact in my life, turned me around, I've decided to, this has to be something that has to be shared. Right? And in a way in which it's not just so far removed, it's something that's very palatable. It's something that's very much possible, right? We're all in this together. We all rise with the tide. And so that's why I've decided to just get involved. That's what I can do. It's really beautiful to watch something or someone blossom. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would.
Right?
Yeah.
And so to be just a part of that process, and then perhaps to be able to observe it from afar is so gratifying and fulfilling. And in turn, you see a person really develop themselves or reach their potential and just be comfortable within their own skin.
Right.
It's beautiful.
And so it appears that you're more interested in not bonding through trauma, but bonding through intention.
Yeah, and be comfortable sharing. Be comfortable sharing traumas and what we're going through, because how can we ever learn from each other? Why do we have to continue committing the same mistakes? That doesn't make sense, right? When we have community and support. And so one thing, instead of sweeping things under the rug, we learn to take accountability, not only with others, but when we're alone. And I think it's very important that we see what is my role in what's happening. First and foremost, seeing what's going on without me, right? Without my direct input. And then separating what's going on from what is my role. Did I cause or did I allow someone or something, right? How did we get here? Only then can I consciously create a way out. Only then can I really, really be honest with myself and with others about what is the problem, what is the solution, and what do I need to get there, right?
Oh, wow. So we're nearing the end of our interview, but I want you to tell everybody, where can they find you?
Sure. So I have an Instagram page. It's Shekhar Studios, HTX. I'll spell that for you real quick, all right? It's SEKHAR Studios, HTX. And that's on Instagram, and also through Soleil International. I'll definitely be providing whatever I can, and always collaborating with this man here. So you guys reach out to Solel, and that's also a very direct avenue to reach me for anything. And I do appreciate everything that you're doing, Danny.
Thank you.
It's very important to be prepared. We all agree on that, but that maintenance of our mind when something happens, it's keeping your mind rather than losing your mind. And that's why mindfulness can really allow us to keep our minds rather than lose them when disaster strikes, when an emergency situation occurs.
And you know what? I did wanted to throw this question out there before we end it, but I know I'm taking some of the time here, but I really want to ask, corporations. Corporations have a role to play, right, in this. And even though we've created the first people-centric plan in Houston, I want to know from you, what can corporations do to ease the disdain from the people, right? That has recently happened with all the things that unfolded with the environment. What do you think we could do, or what do you think the corporations can do to put a better footprint on disaster preparedness?
I think corporations can put a little bit more thought and intention into social responsibility, and also giving someone from these communities, someone that's involved, someone that's connected to the people, a voice or some sort of structure in which what's necessary for this community, what's most helpful for this community, these people within a demographic or so, we're able to have someone that is from the community speak on that. I think connecting to the communities and promoting social responsibility that way is one major way, really connecting with people and getting input that way.
Well, that was excellent. Again, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Shekhar Studios HTX.
Wonderful. So remember, go to redeemthelight.com, and you can go to Redeem the Light on Instagram, Redeem the Light on Facebook, and Redeem the Light on Twitter. So if you can, we'll see you next time, and we love you. Peace.
Stay prepared.
Stay prepared.
Stay prepared.
Stay prepared.
Welcome to Solel International's 12-Step Energy Resilience Plan, your ultimate guide to disaster preparedness. Let's hear what our community has to say.
This plan gave me the tools I needed for our local community.
It's a game changer for emergency preparedness communication.
Real-time updates keep us all connected and informed.
I recommend it to all disaster response teams.
Join the movement towards resilience today. Be prepared and stay informed with the 12-Step Energy Resilience Plan. Visit us now.
Join us today. Be a panelist member and change maker with the citywide people-centric proactive disaster preparedness plan with RedeemTheLight.com.